Hello YouTube, how's it going y'all? I hope y'all are having a good time and I hope y'all are getting ready for the new year. It's crazy, it's almost 2022. And it's also crazy too with the pandemic that we're still kind of missing it, but hopefully 2022 will be a good year. I hope 2021 was a good year for the rest of y'all, especially after 2020. You can only go up from here. But anyways, today I wanted to show y'all a video of the Master League team and my first sets that I've ever done in Master League Classic. I never had a team that I could use in Master League Classic. I could only do Master League Premier Cup or Premier Cup Classic now, just because I didn't have all those legendaries maxed out, or I didn't have very good IV legendaries, which is just my luck. But anyways, I wanted to show y'all a team that I'm planning on using for the rest of Master League Classic, just because I'm trying to build up dust for the Sinnoh Cup and for the Johto Cup, and just for building up other Pokemon that I want to use in other cups. So this team that you're going to see today is a typical Dragon Double Steel line, and these are again my first ever battles in Master League Classic. So let's go ahead and see how we do in these battles. Okay, so as you can see there, I'm sorry if it's lagging for a little bit. My laptop is not the best when it comes to this technology. But anyways, my team here is Garchomp, Metagross, and then Excadrill. You should probably put your best buddy on Excadrill, because as you see with this team is a little weak to an Excadrill safe swap. And the team that I'm using now is Garchomp, a Dragon Tail, Earthquake, and Outrage. In these battles, you're going to see me using Sand Tomb, but I strongly recommend not using Sand Tomb, because without like Earth Power or Earthquake to do any damage to something like a Zacian, for example, Garchomp is just stuck doing nothing. He can't do anything. Garchomp can tank a play rough from a Zacian and get to an Earthquake, and which puts Zacian super low if you ever need it. So I highly recommend running Garchomp with Dragon Tail, Outrage, and Earth Power or Earthquake, depending on what you have. This Garchomp I've had for a very long time. This is the first one, and Garchomp is my favorite, so that's why he's my best buddy. And that's also why he doesn't have Earthquake. If you have Earth Power, it also works, but Earthquake just does a lot more damage against Zacians. And then the other legacy move here that we have is Metagross. So this team is, I think, really accessible for many people, because you ideally only need one elite charge tier for the Metagross. And the other moves you don't need Earth Power on Garchomp, I think. I think Earthquake is just as sufficient. And Outrage already does a lot of damage, neutral damage to stuff like Dialga and to Ho-Oh and to other Pokemon. So without further ado, we'll go ahead and get straight into these battles. So again, these battles are my first sets ever in Master League Classic. So let's see how they go. We first up have a Dialga Lead. Not really good for Dragon Tail Garchomp, especially when it doesn't have Sand Tomb, because with the Sand Tomb debuff, you can actually win in the one shields against a Dialga. And my Garchomp's IVs, even though the attack IVs suck, and I really recommend having 15 attack over anything else for Master League. He's still able to get to enough moves and do enough damage against the Dialga to take it out. But because we're using an ABB line, you have to switch out that line. Metagross and Excadrill both do pretty good against Dialga. Excadrill better than Metagross, of course. And with our Metagross safe swap, we were of course able to pull out the Ho-Oh, which is the steel counter. Excadrill can also hang with Ho-Oh, but Ho-Oh's incinerate damage, which does too much. And with Excadrill, you have those rock slides, but Ho-Oh can tank a rock slide. So now we're down a shield, which is not good. I'm built up making to my opponent that I have an Earthquake or Earth Power, so I can try to take a shield. I bet the Sand Tomb is successful, and then go into Excadrill, and now we have Mewtwo. Okay, this is winnable for Excadrill, especially since my opponent here is going straight Side Strike. Man, Side Strike on Mewtwo, look at this. This is resisted damage. That's a lot. That's a lot of damage. And even though Excadrill is still pretty glassy, that is resisted Side Strike damage from Mewtwo. And I don't want to even know what a Shadow Mewtwo could do. I mean, I feel like Shadow Mewtwo could maybe even farm down Excadrill if it wanted to. But anyways, because we had a little energy advantage, we were able to get to this drill run and take out that Mewtwo quick. Now we just have to get to this drill run before the Dialga takes us out, but we're not able to. We're literally one turn away. If we had literally gone to that drill run, we would have been able to get to an Outrage here to then throw against the Dialga. Very unfortunate here. I think this is definitely a loss. Yeah, definitely a loss. I could have potentially won the game with double Sand Tomb there, but if my opponent maybe didn't shield the first Sand Tomb. But that's okay. You know, that's just how it goes sometimes. It was very, very close match. Good game to my opponent. Here we go again. Another Dialga lead. So with the team here again, I usually use Metagross as a safe swap just because Metagross can hang a little better on the safe swap against things like Kyogre, or as in the case here against Landorus. Just because of the sheer damage that Earthquake and Meteor Mash can do against or in neutral matchups like this. And the thing here too with Landorus Incarnate, the only super effective move that has against Metagross is Earth Power, and I know I'm able to maybe outpace it here to another Meteor Mash, so I decided to shield just so I can maybe get the last shield from my opponent, so then I can go into the next matchups here having a single shield for both my Excadrill and the Garchomp. Because again, Garchomp with Dragon Tail and Outrage, when the opponent has no shields, is really, really good. So as I said, I let my Metagross go here so that I can have the one shield advantage, and then I can start farming up some energy for Garchomp to get to the Outrage. I'm definitely going to get hit with Earth Power, I think, yeah. Here comes the Earth Power. This is going to do a good amount of neutral damage to Garchomp. I think it does put him up to half health. Yeah, about half health, or close to that. So we farm down, we have about 4 Dragon Tails, I think, so not enough, ideally. But my opponent's taking time here, putting Switch Puck out, and then they come in with Zacian. This is not good, because Zacian is easily the best Pokemon in Master League Classic right now. It's able to get to close combat so fast. It takes, I think, 4 for the first close combat and then 3 for the next, so 7 total. But then because it takes 3 and Snarl has 3 turns on the second close combat, it's going to outpace my Excadrill for these moves. And especially since I was slow on the swap, he was able to get extra Snarl through against my Garchomp, and was able to get to his close combat in time. And then here again, here's an example where having Earth Power or Earthquake, it probably could have won me the match or have made the match super, super close. Because Outrage does not KO Dialga from that range. And if I had Earthquake or Earth Power there, I definitely could have possibly won that match. Resistant Dragon Tails may not have been enough, but it still would have been much closer. Oh man, Dialga is literally everywhere. Dialga is easily the best dragon in Master Classic, just because of its steel typing. It's able to just take neutral damage from dragon type attacks, while dishing out super effective Dragon Breath damage. And Dragon Breath just does a lot, even in Master League. So here we go again, we use Metagross, and here we go again. It's another Landorus, but this one is a Therian Landorus. So I know this one has most likely Superpower and Stone Edge at its moves. So it's not ideally the best safe swap into a Metagross here, or the best swap into a Metagross. So I'm going to farm up here. I probably should have thrown, I was thinking to myself after this match, or thinking right now, I should have thrown my Meteor Mash there, because I ideally would have possibly forced a shield, forced that Landorus shield, and then I again would have had 1-0 shield for my Garchomp in the sweep endgame. I go for the Earthquake here because I'm expecting Dialga to shield, and it does. So now I have switch advantage, which is nice. I then come in here with Excadrill and go for the Earth Power as soon as possible here, because I need to get this damage off against the Dialga for the endgame. He barely survives because I think of that best buddy boost, and looking back on this match too, I had Earthquake and I had double Meteor Mash, and there we go. There's Zacian. That's game over. So if I want to, here we'll go back here for a hot second here. So ideally, I probably should have thrown my move before this point, because then I wouldn't have had to waste my last shield here, and I could have saved my last shield for the Excadrill. But again, here at this point, I think I thought for sure that since this is my first battles, I thought for sure Drill Run would have done enough damage against Dialga. But I think because this Dialga was best buddied, it was able to survive that Drill Run pretty handily. So in this scenario, knowing that they came in with Dialga, I probably should have gone for a double Meteor Mash here, just so I can get that damage off against the Dialga. Because with that Meteor Mash damage, the Drill Run would have definitely KO'd, and then all that would have been left was to then throw Drill Runs against the Zacian that comes in, and then again, because Garchomp, you don't see it in any of these matches unfortunately, but Garchomp is able to tank a play rough from a Zacian. It puts in the red, but it's still enough for Garchomp to get to a move like Stand Tomb or an Outrage. And then with the drill run damage, and then Zacian debuffing itself, I think we definitely could have won that match. It was definitely a very, very good possibility of winning that match. But either way, good games to my opponent. This first set is not looking good, y'all. So that's 3 losses already. So let's go ahead into this next battle here. We have Garchomp against Giratina Origin. This is a very good lead for Garchomp, especially with Dragon Tail. What I like to do in the Giratina Origin leads is usually shield the first move. They didn't throw the Shadow Ball here, but we usually shield the first move because it takes 2 moves from Giratina Origin to take out Garchomp, and Garchomp is able to fully farm down a Giratina Origin. So my opponent now brings in Mewtwo. I tank the first Side Strike on my Garchomp, and build up some extra energy so I can pressure the Giratina Origin in the end. And now I'm going to throw this Drill Run here before the Mewtwo gets to another move so that I can maintain switch advantage. I have enough energy and health on Excadrill where I could probably get to 2 moves here, unless my opponent throws a move. And 2 Drill Runs probably won't be enough to KO, but it'll put the Giratina Origin very low, and it might pressure my opponent to shield. So yeah, my opponent is going to go for the full farm down, which is not that great. And since we took a Side Strike on our Garchomp, an Ominous Wind from this range with the Shadow Claws might be enough to KO. Oh, but here we go. My opponent, it was a CMP tie. My opponent now throws the Ominous Wind to take out my Garchomp, to take out my Excadrill. Oh, that's right. And they get that boost. They get the Ominous Wind boost. So after this set, I did the rest of my sets in the day, so 4 more sets. And you're going to see in my future sets that I did much better in these matches. But I swear, in a lot of these matches, in a lot of my matches today too, when I'm recording this, Giratina Origin was just getting so many freaking boosts with the Ominous Wind. It was really just pissing me off. Because I don't recall the last time I even got an Ancient Power boost, or let alone an Ominous Wind boost. Both of them have the same chances of getting the double boost. And I think literally the last time I got the double boost was maybe Season 2. So a long time ago. But now this is the problem with the team too. If there's a Ho-Oh in the back, this is basically a good game. When the Ho-Oh came in, I had a lot of energy for Outrage and Sand Tomb, and I thought my opponent wouldn't shield the first move because they had 2 shields to my 1 shield. And so if I had actually baited there with my Sand Tomb and then maybe have gone to the Outrage, a Meteor Mash could have been enough to KO, and I possibly could have won that game. So yeah, let's see here. So Metagross is here, throwing the Outrage. Yeah, so we have to shield this move and Giratina was able to get to another move because it had the defense boost. So yeah, so there I had enough for 2 Sand Tombs. And then, so if I threw a Sand Tomb, I would have been able to get to an Outrage in time before the Ho-Oh was able to throw its next move. And then with that Outrage, with the Dragon Tail damage from the debuff defense, and then with the taking the last shield here with the Outrage, Meteor Mash could have possibly done enough damage in the end here to possibly win me the match. Like with all the damage that Metagross and Garchomp are putting in here together, I think it would have been enough. And my opponent had 1 to 2 shields, so I thought that they would have thought to not shield and to let the Outrage through, or that they would fail calling my bait. But they played that match correctly. They shielded my Outrage, and that's just how it goes sometimes. Sometimes your opponents make the right call, sometimes they don't. Either way, very good game to my opponent. Still a close match. Alright, 0-4, here we go. Last match now, we have a Zacian Lead. So again, this is why we have a double steel backline. We go into Metagross, and my opponent then brings in Giratina Origin. So this is kind of tricky for Metagross, because Giratina Origin can just hit very hard with super effective Ominous Winds and Shadow Ball, and he can tank a Meteor Mash pretty handily. So what's going to happen here is, yeah, Giratina counted the moves correctly. They had to throw Shadow Ball here to take me out, and so I'm hoping that they don't, but they do. Ominous Wind wouldn't have KO'd from that range, and I would have been able to get to a second Meteor Mash and take the shield. So my opponent played that very correctly. Good job to them. And so now we just come in with Garchomp here to farm down the Giratina Origin. But again, because I don't have Earthquake or Earth Power on this Garchomp, I won't have anything to pressure Zacian. I don't have any moves to pressure Zacian. I can maybe at best throw Sandtunes at it, but the Sandtunes just aren't going to do enough damage. And now the Zacian has double shields and a lot of health, and it's just going to start racking up its close combats. So yeah, it's probably at back-to-back right now. When you're in this matchup with Excadrill, just keep building up until they throw the first close combat and then throw your drill run, because when they try to throw the back-to-back, you win the CMP tie with Excadrill. So you're able to then throw your first drill run before they throw their second close combat. And at that point, they're most likely going to shield, and then you can at least make the matchup a little more comfortable. But I played it terribly here in this game. I honestly look at these matches, I'm just like ashamed of how poorly I did. But you know, yeah, that's just how it goes sometimes. This is the first set too. This is a brand new team, brand new league for me. And yeah, there's nothing left I can do here. My opponent can just easily shield this Outrage, or they could even let the Outrage go and their Snorlax can still survive and get to a body slam in time. So good game to my opponent here. You know, with just how things go sometimes, you know, it's just how it goes, you know? You try a new team and you're trying to figure out the ins and outs of your team, trying to figure out, okay, what is this Pokemon good against? What is it not good against? What else could I possibly use, or like, or how do I handle a Mewtwo safe swap, or how do I handle an Yveltal safe swap? All those little details and like all those little calculations that you're doing in your head, it takes time to develop. It takes time to develop that skill. And for me, who has never played Master Classic or Master League before XL was even a thing, all of this was completely brand new to me. I've seen videos of people playing Master League, but I've never played it myself. And then I don't have like the best IVs on my Pokemon. So some of these matchups could have been much closer if I had better IVs. But all in all, you saw me. This set was 0-5. This is ridiculous. It was terrible, and and you would probably think, well, that's because your team was terrible. You didn't win those matches. Well, I would kind of argue that some of those matches were very close. They came down to 1 or 2 turns, but also that's just how GBL goes sometimes. Sometimes you get those terrible sets where you go 0-5 or 1-4. I do want to say that after this set, I finished the rest of the day going somewhat positive, getting 4 1s. And again, a 4-1, 2 3-2s, and a 2-3. So it evened out pretty well. And I'm kind of glad that this first set went as it did, because I realized, okay, I need to change the team. I need to change Garchomp's move from Sandtune to something else that can hit Zacian, because Zacian, again, is just so powerful. So I'm going to release another video later this week of this exact team and the other sets that I did to show how I improved on my matches, and how I also changed the movesets and how I handled other matchups against Zacians, against Giratina Origins and Dialgas, stuff like that. So I wanted to thank you all for watching this video, my first set ever doing Master League Classic. I hope you enjoyed. I hope it also gave you some encouragement that other content creators also struggle and have really bad days in GBL. That's just how it is. Right now, I am sitting around the 2700s, and I'm trying to get to Expert, and I really want to get to Expert with this team. Garchomp is my favorite Pokemon ever, so he's going to be best buddy no matter what. Ideally, best buddy Excadrill, but Garchomp is best buddy all the way. So thank you again for watching this video, and I will see y'all in the next one. Bye-bye.